What's up, guys? It is I, once again, Joseph Cohen Mason, at your service. And today, guys, I want to review a movie which I have not seen in a very long time, and that movie is the 1979 vampire horror slash drama Nosferatu The Vampyre, written, produced, and directed by legendary filmmaker Wener Herzog. And this movie, Nosferatu The Vampyre, stars Klaus Kinski, Bruno Ganz, Isabella Gianni, and many other renowned actors of both French and German cinema. And this movie, guys, is just awesome. It is one of the best films I have seen. It is one of my all-time favorite movies I love so much. The story basically tells a tale of Dracula himself, Count Dracula, and the plague he spreads across Germany, and trying to find his one true love, the long lost love he seeks so desperately. And this story is based off the novel by Bram Stoker, which is called Dracula. And Nosferatu the Vampyre is based off an original classic from the 1920s, and Wener Herzog remade this movie, trying to be faithful and trying to make Nosferatu the Vampyre, the story of Nosferatu, his own. And the story tells the tale of Jonathan Harker, who is played by Bruno Ganz. And Jonathan Harker must leave his wife Lucy Harker, played by Isabella Gianni, and very well, I must say, to head for Transylvania, where he must sell an estate to Dracula, Count Dracula, at the request of his employer, Mr. Reinfeld. Jonathan Harker heads for Transylvania, where he tries to sell the estate in Germany to Dracula, who lives beyond Transylvania and the outskirts in this giant mansion, which is very deserted, very grim and dark, and just very decrepit this mansion is. It's a very old place. He's living by himself, and the villagers, they fear Dracula, they fear him, and they don't want to go near his mansion, and they try to warn Harker not to go in that mansion. And Jonathan Harker, despite being warned by the villagers not to go near Dracula's mansion, heads for the mansion and meets Count Dracula in the flesh. And Count Dracula is played so amazingly well by Klaus Kinski. Klaus Kinski has never been this good as Dracula. And as Jonathan Harker is trying to sell the estate to Count Dracula, Dracula sees a picture of Lucy Harker in a locket which Jonathan has been carrying around, and he starts to become very infatuated, very obsessed with wanting to see Lucy. So he buys the estate off of Jonathan for the purpose of trying to go to Germany and to find Lucy, who he believes is his one true love. This movie is ultimately about the despair, loneliness, and the utter sadness a vampire goes through with having to live many centuries all alone, with no one to love you, no one to care for you, and no one to understand who you are as an individual. And Dracula has always been portrayed as a monster or as a blood-sucking fiend in many of those Hammer films in the 1950s up to the 60s, and those Hammer films I really despise because they forget the essence of what makes Dracula a real person. Dracula in Bram Stoker's novel was never a monster. He was but a man who wants to be loved, who wants to be cherished, who wants to be cared for. And this movie demonstrates that so well, and Klaus Kinski nails the performance of Dracula. Klaus Kinski is so great as Dracula. He is so restrained, so subtle, and he adds a lot of humanity to Dracula. Dracula is such a fragile creature who wants to be loved, he wants to be cared for, and his love is that in Lucy. Dracula, despite loving Lucy, does not get her love because Lucy's love is preserved only for Jonathan Harker, her husband, who she is ever so devoted to, because Jonathan Harker has always been Lucy's one true love. And Lucy is by far one of the best female characters in cinematic history, and she is played so well by Isabella Gianni. I love Isabella Gianni. She is one of my favorite actresses by far. I adore her as an actress, I adore her as a woman, and she is so fantastic in this role. I love Isabella Gianni. Isabella Gianni is such a great actress I love so much because she's able to emote and to express her emotions in such a deep, subtle way with just her eyes alone. She is a very gorgeous, beautiful, radiant woman who I love so much, and she is by far the best part of this movie. Besides Count Dracula and Klaus Kinski, I love Isabella Gianni as Lucy Harker, who in the novel, Bram Stoker's novel Dracula, is actually, the main female character of the novel is actually Wener Harker. And this movie, Wener has been replaced by Lucy Harker. And Lucy was Wener's best friend in the novel. But in this movie, Wener is the best friend of Lucy. And Isabella Gianni is just amazing in this role. She is so amazing. I love her. Nosferatu The Vampyre is by far one of the best movies I have seen. It's a perfect film once again. I love this movie, and I'm giving this film a 10 out of 10 stars, a perfect 10 out of 10 stars, because this movie is just such a gem to behold. It's a great remake of a classic film. It's a great movie on its own, and this film has everything I love about cinema. The direction, the writing, the characters, the cinematography, the setting, the language, the environment, the atmosphere. My God, this movie has so much atmosphere. And the opening of the movie, the opening is just creepy. It's very eerie, it's very dark. And guys, in the end, this film, Nosferatu The Vampyre, is a very dark, grim, gothic, depressing, sad movie, and yet it is so beautiful in its story. It's such a wonderful, amazing, incredible film that has a lot of heart and soul. And guys, Nosferatu The Vampyre is a movie which I love, and I highly recommend you watch it. I highly recommend it. And thank you for watching, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you wish. Until next time, peace out, take care, adios amigos, and au revoir.